Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod. That would have been Something in the Way She Moves by James Taylor. That was what David was playing on the radio when he apologized for being a shit roommate. Yeah.
Good.
This was a good, by the way, this was a good music episode.
Yeah.
You could hear the music?
Well, here's the thing. I noticed there was more music dropped, but I didn't know if it was. I didn't do the research on whether or not it was in the original episode or even what it was. There was so much that happened. I couldn't research everything.
Well, I'm just like, if you recognized the songs, that means that they were the real songs. Like,
Oh, okay.
I mean, so like they played Crossfire by Stevie Ray Vaughan when Dylan's Porsche was stalled on the road, and they played Man on the Moon by REM during the ping pong scene.
Oh, no, that was. Yeah, I'm already thinking now that these were not the songs I heard.
Yep. And then there were two James Taylor songs, Fire and Rain and Something in the Way. So,
Were they playing Fire and Rain in the end?
It doesn't, I don't remember. On the website, it says add scene description.
I feel like that's something that would have happened at the very end with the cliffhanger, because
it might have, but it would be weird for it to go from David playing one James Taylor song on the radio to the soundtrack playing a different James Taylor song just to have Dylan get carjacked. But I mean, maybe I don't remember. Anyway, Cheesemeisters, I am Jeff, and what brought this on? And joining me on the other end of the internet, my host.
I'm Leslie, and I live like a nun.
Do you? Then you should break that habit. Boom!
Oh, I almost stepped on that joke. Whoops.
That's right. I'm the best nun pun giver in the world. I'm a nun punner.
Wow.
Which is different than a nun punter, or a nut punter, or a cunt punter, or a cunt puncher. I'm none of those things. I'm a nun punter. Anyway, this week, Cheesemeisters, we are discussing Season 4, Episode 6, Strangers in the Night, Exchanging Porsches. Original air date, October 13th, 1993.
Ooh.
All right, a lot of shit happened in this episode. Which of the things that happened in this episode made you throw up in your mouth or throw something?
Oh, I'm so torn between. I might have thrown my vomit during the whole Kelly Dylan breakup. This was so stupid. It was. It was really stupid, and I've trying to be. It feels out of nowhere. If you're looking at them without knowing Kelly's talking to John Sears, this looks like it's coming out of nowhere. And even John Sears isn't a strong enough case for me, because I really don't know why, other than the obvious of she clearly wants to be idolized the entirety of her relationship or wants to be pursued. I don't know. Kelly is not looking good right now.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I have a very different read on this, so that's kind of fascinating.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Okay. So let's run the whole episode and then we'll get into that, because I think that there's a fuck ton going on here. All right. So Dylan's car breaks down on the road, and he takes it to the mechanic, who says that you can't drive this car every day, dude. It's bad for the car. This is an old car. Maybe get something to drive around during the week. This is your weekend deal.
Wow.
And Dylan's like, oh, if I'm going to do that, I better go talk to Jimbo. And so he does, but before he gets there, one of Jimbo's clients, Mr. Carson's first name I forget, is there to meet with Jim, and Brenda still works there, which is exciting.
Yep.
And now we know why. It's so she could meet Mr. Carson's eligible son, 24-year-old Stuart Carson, former bellhop.
That's the hope.
Yep, bellhop. But Dylan shows up and is like, "Hey, can I get a new car?" And Jim's like, "You can get a sensible automobile." And Dylan is like, "Bet sensible's my move." as you can see by the fact that I own this Porsche.
Yeah.
And prior to like 3 months ago, I had no money. So it's pretty impressive that I've had this Porsche this whole time. Also, I own my own home and I'm 19.
And I don't do anything. I don't
No,
invest. I have a
nope.
trust. That's all.
That's all. I'm doing nothing and I'm okay. But can I buy a sensible automobile? And Jim's like, get that sensible car, Dylan. Drive
And go to
around.
college.
That's right. You know what Dylan should have bought? Voice of experience. 1993 Dodge Spirit. That's what he should have got. It's exactly like the Acclaim. Same body type. It's it'll get you where you need to go. It got me where I needed to go in high school. Dodge Spirit in the house. But so Dylan's like, yeah, give me that cash. And so he's gonna go car shopping or whatever. But on the CU campus, Andrea and Dan Rubin are getting a little frisky.
A little.
She's feeling it. She's feeling it, and he's feeling it. They're feeling everything. Until she says, guess what? V card. And Dan says, oh, you know what? We should chill. Like let's take like a 6-hour break and see if our respective boners are still up.
Yep.
Because this should be special. It should be just like Hiroshima. It should be a night to remember.
It should be what I, the experienced person, want for you, the inexperienced, whose opinion I will not ask.
That's fair. I mean, that's one way to go about it, and it's the way Dan Rubin chooses to go about it. Look, he's a TA. What don't TAs know? I mean, you should be a little less literal, freshman.
Air Raid freshman.
She's a freshman. Peric tease. But you know, before Andrea meets Dan Rubin in the Condor's Nest, which I don't know if they've said that out loud, but that's the name of the quad.
Stop it!
And
I
it's
don't think
Condor's
they
Nest.
have.
Yeah, that's where they're hanging out. But Brandon and Steve are playing some ping pong while Kelly and Donna look on. After they manage to see, I'm out of order here because a lot happens in this episode. Kelly and Donna get to school without David because they cannot get his ass moving.
Nope.
He finally gets up. John Sears calls Kelly again. Donna is super frustrated, just wants to get to class on time. They get there, leave David at home, eating cereal out of a giant bowl. No notes. Do that, David. And lots of cereal in this episode. Jim's eating cereal too later on. I don't know if we should add cereal to our list of things we're following. I think probably not. But
well, I did want to make the joke as I'm watching him eat cornflakes in the middle of the night. I'm like, oh, Cindy said no. So he's got to quell.
You got to eat that cornflakes. That's right.
Yeah.
Liam told me the other day. Is it? I didn't know that. Tamping down the sexual urges.
Look up the history of Kellogg's cereal, everyone. You will not be disappointed, and you will continue to be horrified at this country and its need to quench people's masturbatory needs.
Well, tell me more. And now that's all I want to talk about is cereal masturbation. What's going on with this?
So the Cliff Notes version is that this, people thought that all of the sugar being added into food was, part of why teens were so lusty and hormonal. And so they were like, you know what, we're going to make a cereal that is basically cardboard, but we're going to sell it as food. And this is going to keep people from wanting to masturbate because there's nothing exciting in it. This will make people yearn for a boring life.
That's fucking weird. I don't even know what to do with that.
It's so weird.
Here's what's the weirdest part. I don't know when that happened. I'm guessing 1940s.
I believe the 50s.
1950s.
But
yeah, 1950s. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It worked. I mean, not from the masturbatory part of it. But cornflakes still exists. I could go buy cornflakes right now if I wanted to, and it tastes the same.
Yep.
Like,
well, cardboard doesn't change.
but why did that work as a product? It like why are we still eating cornflakes? Like that's
Well, I don't
I don't
think it was
understand.
advertised as, is your kid fopping fapping too much in the morning? If are they delaying breakfast, give them cornflakes and they'll stop.
Okay, I understand, but they intentionally made a bland product.
Yeah.
And 60 years later, 70 years later, we're like, give me that bland product. Give me that bland cereal. Pour
I
some milk on
mean,
cardboard and shove it in my mouth.
there
I
are
don't
definitely people
understand.
who don't like flavor in their food.
I don't know. I'm fucking at a loss with this. This is not, I don't like it. I don't like any part of it.
You're not
No.
supposed to. You shouldn't.
But here it is. We still can buy cornflakes, and Jim is just all right. I'm eating cornflakes in the middle of the night. Whatever. Anyhow, they're playing ping pong, and the girls are like, "David sucks, FYI." And Brandon's like, "Guess what? Beat you in ping pong, just like I beat you in tennis, bitch." The summer, those, any kind of paddle net ball game, Brandon is beating Steve. But Steve and the girls got to go because there's fraternity and sorority meetings, and you don't want your demerits. Demerits are bad, apparently. So they go to do that, and Brandon's like, no one wants to play with me, and he walks into the quad
Such a lonely
and
boy.
runs into Andrea, who also does not want to play with him, and she wants to play with Dan Rubin. And so she goes and they have a thing, and they're discussing Faulkner and how freshman girls need to be a little less literal, a little more hands-on, if you will. And she will. Um,
Oh
and
yeah.
so they almost do it, but then he's like, "This should be more special." And um, so he they stop. They stop their cavorting. Um, and Kelly shows up because she gets a job at the sorority meeting. It's called 6 a.m. something. Get in a van.
Yeah.
Apparently, is the job, and the van is driven by one John Sears, senior, and not because he has a child named John Sears, but because he is a senior and he won't stop talking about it. And they're gonna drive around and do some shit. I don't even know what. But it's flirting happening, and so they do that shit, and then she shows back up at the quad, and the boys are looking through car magazines because Dylan needs to get a sensible automobile. And Steve, of course, Corvette salesman of the year. His pictures hanging on the wall at the Corvette dealership. It says employee of the month 12 times in a
Wow.
row. It's awful. Um, he gets his commission is through the roof at this point. That's why he's pushing so hard.
Oh
Brandon is a
gosh.
Dodge man. Brandon, even though he's driving a Mustang, wants to Dodge Viper. And Dylan doesn't know what he wants, just that it should be sensible. So all he test drives is sports cars, because he's a boy apparently. And uh, and then Brenda gets set up on a date with Stuart Carson's son, or Stuart Carson, the son of Mr. Carson, whose name I should remember, but I don't.
It's okay.
And they go on a date, and this guy has the town wired. Like his dad's, he's a co-owner or whatever, an investor in this super fancy restaurant where you can just give people money and they ignore the state alcohol laws, let you get minors drunk. She's not a minor, it's okay, but she's not allowed to drink. And then they go to a club where he knows everybody, and they get their groove on, and all that's going real well. And Brenda's like, "This is fun, but I should go home because I live with my parents and I don't want to get in trouble." Um, and she gets home, and Jim's been waiting up, eating that non-masturbatory cereal, and talking to Brandon about said cereal, but not about the masturbation part. One assumes. I don't know. That might have been cut out. And Brenda gets home and is like, "Dad, I'm a grown up." And he's like, "You're right. You should be a grown up now. It's fine. Go have a good time. Stuart seems like a nice fella. I'm wearing a bathrobe and directing this episode." And uh, he goes upstairs, and Brandon's like, "Can't believe you let her get away with it." And Jim's like, "Brandon, grow up and go to bed. And also, your hair still looks silly from when you were in Tombstone."
Yeah, you can have an opinion again when your hair looks normal.
Yeah, it's got to grow out. You know what? We talked about that when we noticed that his hair looked funky in the pilot, but I don't think we ever came back to it. I'm 99% sure it's Tombstone related because in Tombstone he's wearing a cowboy hat, and so all you really see is this part of his hair.
Uh-huh.
It's very short. I think they wanted it short under the hat, but he didn't want to touch the top that you would never see because he's wearing
Uh-huh.
a hat. So they just mushroomed his head. It was fucking weird.
Okay. I'm baffled by that because that kind of haircut was not common then.
Like a close shaved head, though. I think like people didn't. I mean, people had short hair. I think.
They had short hair, but a close shaved head. I mean, unless he was a prisoner, and that's part of Tombstone that I don't know. Like, I
No,
feel like
he's
that's
not
the
in
only
it long
time you
enough
would
to have a backstory.
say that again.
He's not in it long enough to have a backstory, and he's not in jail when we see him.
Oh, okay.
But he probably, I mean, he probably was up to no good, like most of the people in Tombstone. So that's all
I feel
happening.
like Jason Priestley was using this episode to audition for other things. Like, there were so many random, either
Accents?
so many random accents alone, and then
Yeah.
also just like he was like, you know what, I've done a drama, I want to do a comedy now. So he was
Mm-hmm.
doing a bunch of silly things like staring down Stuart.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. He was Brandon. You know what? Here's the thing. Brandon was lonely, and we're gonna talk about that some more. But um, Brandon is a man without a country at the moment, and you can see it as he just sort of wanders room to. He's in like all of the scenes, contributing dialogue, but
Yeah,
like then everybody leaves, and Brandon's just like, I'm a sad boy. And so,
he is
um,
a puppy.
he has a little bit, yeah. Um, and so Brenda's date with Stuart goes really well. She has a good time. Um, they smooch on the front porch, and he wants the rest of her life after one date. He's moving fast, Stuart Carson.
Yeah.
He probably knows he only has like 6 episodes, so you've got to get this shit in. I don't know how many episodes he has. I didn't look, but and Dylan he shows up at Kelly's late at night where she's finishing her day the way she began it, talking to John Sears on the telephone, and um, he picks her up and wants to tool about because he's feeling like a little bit of Jim Walsh guilt,
Mm-hmm.
and Kelly's like, I don't know why you let this man bother you. Like, you just buy a car, you're fine. And they go out and they drive around. Everything seems fine and happy, and Dylan's like, I'm getting a Ford Bronco because nothing has ever happened bad in a Ford Bronco in 1994. It's fine. And and Kelly's like, okay, that makes sense. Also, we should probably break up. And Dylan is like, oh, all right, I guess I'll drive home then. And so she goes inside, and Dylan fails to drive home because get out of the car, sucker.
Oh my god. Walter White, what the fuck?
I know it does kind of come out of no place. Um, all right, so that's what happens in the episode. Here's why I don't think Kelly breaking up with Dylan comes out of nowhere, even though the way that it happens is weird.
Sure.
We've been getting, I mean, the whole season we've been getting this, right? She comes back from Europe without him and is like, we broke up because he's too far removed. He just wants to sit there with his head in his book. He doesn't want to do the things I want to do, like go shopping and fuck or whatever it was she wanted to get up to. Um, and they come back and they get back together, and she's like, hey, I really want to go to this pool party, and he's like, I really don't want to do that. Well, first she's like, I really want to go to school, and he's like, I don't. And she's like, but you should, it's a good idea. And so then like he goes fishing with Brenda, and then they say, I guess I'll go to school. And then she's like, the next episode, she's like, I want to go to this pool party, and he's like, I don't. I just want to go. This guy, he wrote a biography of Jack Kerouac. I want to go to that. And but then he goes to the pool party. And every time she wants to do something and he doesn't want to do it, she finds other people who do want to do the thing she wants to do. And one of those people is big old John Sears. And what Kelly is experiencing, and it's what she says to Dylan, why she wants to break up. She wants to do these college things and he doesn't.
Yeah.
And she wants to feel like she has the option to do what she wants. And Dylan is in the way of that because she doesn't have the option to do what she wants. She's far more tied down than she wants to be. And that's been clear all along.
Yeah, I know these things and I've been thinking these things. Like, there have been the clues, and it's clearer to me now that Kelly and Dylan were never going to last as long as he and Brenda did. But I guess it's just, I felt it was weird, or maybe I was a little like, man, I'm kind of sad they're going out this realistically, like,
Right. Yeah.
we're,
But then there's a carjacking, so that blows up the realism. Although in the
literally.
90s, people getting carjacked left and right. It's happening all the time.
Oh gosh,
Apparently.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just mad that she's doing it so she can get with John, because that's not going to be good at all.
I don't know she's breaking up with Dylan for John. Like, I think he's a symptom.
Okay.
Like, and but that symptom is fucking my wife. Hashtag when Harry met Sally.
Yep.
Even Mr. Zero knew.
Zero knew before I did.
That's right. Don't fuck with Mr. Zero.
Yeah.
I should get that t-shirt. I love that.
Yeah. You need many t-shirts.
I do. I think she wants all the things she said she wants. She wants to do college kid shit. And Dylan wants to do I need to buy a new Porsche shit.
Well,
like,
then,
in different places.
Yeah, I think it makes me mad for, even though Brenda and Dylan were not perfect together, I would still wager that they are better together than he and Kelly. And it just feels like, okay, then why did you all get together? Like, you blew up your lives,
Mm-hmm.
A little bit for a fling. And yeah, I'm just annoyed by it. And even though the signs were there, it makes sense ultimately, but it bothers me.
I get it. That's fine. Which I guess gets us to what this episode is really about. One of the things I think this episode is really about is it's a big old square dance. Time to change partners.
Yep.
Because Andrea and Dan are partnering up.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly and John potentially are a change partners situation. Kelly and Dylan changing partners. Brenda and Stuart coming together.
Mm-hmm.
So what I want to know from you is, I would like you to rate the new partners. First being most desirable as a potential date to least desirable as a potential date. Like, who seems the shittiest and who seems the most promising?
Of the couples?
Of the new people. Yeah.
Mm.
Because we know Andrea, Kelly, and Brenda, but we don't really know Stuart and John and Dan all that well.
So this is going to be difficult, mainly for the fact that underscoring was such a heavy clue. I feel like this episode, because there was some eerie music playing when Andrea is contemplating going to Dan's room and sleeping with him and then going to his class the next day. I'm like, what is this? Is this communism? Is a red herring? Then there were church bells ringing when Stuart and Brenda went on their date.
Either I didn't notice or you have different soundtrack music, which is possible.
I don't know, and that would be really stupid if they're also changing up their underscoring. Good grief, just give the original artist their damn money.
I know.
Anyway, but there were definitely, like, they lock eyes, and as they're heading out and walk into his car, there are church bells ringing, and I'm like,
interesting.
The hell? So, gosh. We know the least about Stuart, but I'm going to put him in the middle. I think Dan is the most promising.
Okay.
Like, closely followed by Stuart.
Okay.
And then John Sears has been pushed off a cliff.
Okay.
Least promising.
that feels correct.
Oh, sweet.
Directionally anyway. Because like if I had said rate them from least skeezy to most skeezy, would it be the same ranking?
No.
No. Who's the least skeezy?
Stuart so far. Like,
Okay.
oddly enough, did not get a skeezy vibe from him, and it very easily could have gone that way, but he played it just right. Dan, the only reason there's a slightly skeezy feeling from me is that underscoring, and then also, like, I know she's leaving his English class, but, they still got together under, like, slightly icky circumstances.
Sure.
Like,
Okay.
it doesn't feel great. Like, as long as they're both happy right now, that's fine. I'm not going to judge them for it. Who are me to judge? Um but there's still something like, if anyone finds out, is this going to be okay?
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Interesting. Well, we'll see how it plays out because it will play out.
Mhm.
Um, what do you think this episode might really have been about?
Everybody wants something new. Dylan wants a
Mm-hmm.
new car. Kelly wants a new boyfriend. She
Mm-hmm.
wants new pursuits.
Yeah.
Um Andrea wants sex, so that's a new life experience to add to her collection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Brenda wants to be seen in a new way as an adult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had something similar. I said it was about new roles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Brandon is now a hapless loner. Dodge Viper salesman. Not quite employee of the month.
Nope.
David is a shitty roommate and disc jockey. Um,
I feel like everything he's got unprocessed grief. Whether or not that's how they like intended him to be playing this, like he could just be a jerk. A cigar could just be a cigar. But this, it just feels like a huge regression. Like,
yeah,
I did all this work. You know what? It's burnout. He's burnout from senior year.
maybe he did push real hard at the end of the year. To me, like it seems like they're doing a pretty good job of showing the different ways that different people adjust to college.
Yeah.
Like everybody when they go to college is trying to like figure themselves out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, Kelly is like, I want to do college shit. And Donna is like, I really want to do well in class. And David's like, I used to have a maid. And like, I don't anymore, but I'm acting the same way that I used to when I had a maid. Um, like he's a fucking slob.
Yeah.
And that I knew plenty of fucking slobs when I was in college. Like they're just people whose rooms are gross. Everything stinks because they never wash their clothes. Like
Ugh.
there's piles of dirty dishes on the window ledge. Like it's just some people are gross when they are like, mom's not there to take care of them anymore.
Ugh.
And so David is very much doing that. Like I really like I feel like your initial response to that was, I hate these girls being naggy because it's a bad look for the girls to like,
Yes.
you know, but I think they're being reasonable roommates,
No, they absolutely are.
except for like caring if he goes to class or not. Like, except for if it was your dorm room roommate and he never went to class and then he walked in on you again and you yelled at him and said, don't you ever fucking go to class. Um, I've heard that happens to people.
Oh.
I had a roommate who never went to class.
Oh my god.
I had a lot of problems with this guy. Um,
Clearly.
but that is one of them. Like we scheduled some nookie when he was supposed to be in class, and that motherfucker came home.
Ah.
I was real irritated.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah, and I yelled at him, and he pouted. He pouted his way out of the room. I'm like, fuck yourself. where I'm at. I'm still where I'm at.
That's
30
valid.
years later. Yeah, it's 30 years later.
It's valid.
Laura keeps turning around and looking at me.
What?
She just gave me the finger. To be fair, that happens here multiple times a day.
Oh God.
It's fine. No. I told you the douchebag story, didn't I? Have I told the Cheesemeister's the douchebag story?
I don't think you have.
This is when Liam was a baby. Like he was, I don't know, 3, something like that. Somebody cut Laura off in traffic and she was like, "Nice job, douchebag." And Liam said, "Why did you call him dad?" It really is awesome.
That's amazing. Oh,
Yep.
I love that.
Term of endearment in our house.
Ember's laughing too.
She is. So is Liam. And so is Laura. Everyone's laughing.
Good.
At me being a douche nozzle. We were talking about, I don't know why they care that he goes to class.
And to clarify, like, I was not annoyed by them. I know they were being presented as nagging, and they were like, girls, be super annoying, like girls do. But they were perfectly within reason. Other than, like you said, whether or not he goes to class, that's not your problem. Like, I mean, I understand why they care, because Kelly's his house, stepsister, and Don, they're all friends,
Yeah. They care about him as a person.
Yeah.
Which is like justifiable, and you should care about your friends as people.
Yeah.
But they, it's not their job to make sure he goes to class. But they need him to be a good roommate. And he's a shit roommate.
Mm-hmm.
He keeps different hours than they do, but that doesn't seem to be a problem. It's not like he's coming home at 3 a.m. and waking him up and shit. But he is just a slug, and he's filthy, and cereal out of a bowl is fine. Big old bowl, it's fine.
Sure.
But
although he doesn't put any milk on it, he just eats it like Chex Mix.
Yeah, it depends on the cereal whether that's a good idea or not.
Huh.
Like there are some cereals you can eat dry, like I would say, like I just had a handful of Apple Jacks the other day. That was all right.
Okay.
Wasn't bad. Nice and crunchy.
I do like Frosted Mini Wheats on their own.
Really? I find those to be like too.
They're definitely dense. Yeah, they're dense, but for a while it was a good snack. It was a good cheap snack.
Okay.
And I don't know, I wasn't drinking milk at the time, and I certainly wasn't spending the money on non-dairy milk like I do occasionally now.
Gotcha. All right. So what's the best cereal to eat then? What's your favorite? Because Liam has an opinion. He told me that agree with it.
I've been thinking about getting back into cereal because that's getting to be cheaper than eggs.
Barely. Cereal's ridiculous. Well, but you can find, as long as you don't care what you buy, there's something on sale for $3 or $4 every week.
Sure. And I always liked the multigrain Cheerios that like had a little sweet. I don't like a ton of sugar. Okay. What else do I like? I was big into granola for a while. Like that's the only way I'll eat yogurt.
Granola with yogurt, thumbs up.
Yeah, load the healthy stuff with with yummier things. Let's see, what else? There's cereal. I tried lying to myself in high school and telling myself that I liked Special K because, like Kelly was obsessed with maintaining a figure, and Special K was the go-to cereal at the time, and it's crap.
You were sold.
It's glorified cornflakes. Well, yes, listen, just like teen girls are the prime target of Instagram, we were also the prime target for anything geared like low fat, skinny, fat free.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, all I remember about Special K is the ad with the woman in the one-piece bathing suit that turns into the K because like she's getting thin.
Yeah.
See? I mean, effective marketing. They win. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Kellogg's brand. So there's a lot of really good cereal out there. Like
Tell me.
um, Cocoa Puffs is pretty great, especially when you get the chocolate milk that comes after you pour the milk on, and at the end of the bowl, it's chocolate milk. That's
Nice.
really good. Um, Cinnamon Toast Crunch is great. Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Golden Grams in the same bowl, even better.
Oh,
I ate a lot of cereal in college because, like, the dorm room cafeteria can't fuck up a bowl of cereal,
yep.
you know. But like the other food could be not great, but a big old 4 bowls of cereal and you're good to go. Um, like Captain Crunch, on occasion, as long as you're okay with the roof of your mouth getting shredded, is great.
Oh
Um,
my god.
it's a design. I mean, it's a feature, not a flaw. It's what they want. Um, that's really, really, it's good stuff. Life cereal, quite good,
Hmm.
underrated. Um, yeah, there's a lot of good cereal. I don't eat very much cereal because I don't do the milk.
Yeah,
But
same. Like I don't get a
Liam's
lot of
big.
cereal.
Liam eats a lot of cereal, so if he's eating something occasionally, I'll walk in and grab a handful of it.
Nice.
And that, it's kind of all I want. I just want to be able to like taste some Captain Crunch, but I don't
From
need like
his
a.
bowl. I hope you take it from his bowl.
I don't. No, I take it from the box.
Give me that sucker.
Right. I paid for this shit. Shove it in my mouth. Um. Anyway, yeah, David's a shitty roommate, but we like cereal, and so does Jim. Um. Brenda's trying on a new role as adult.
Yeah.
Like she's got a job for the second week in a row, which is impressive for Brenda. Very professional. Mr. Walsh, your appointment is here. Uh, and then she's like going to like restaurants that aren't the Peach Pit for dinner, and then going to clubs where she can dance with Stuart, not swimming pools where she's dancing with David.
Yeah.
And then she's like, Dad, I think we need to come to a new agreement here. And Jim wisely, good parenting, says, "You're right. I don't know. I mean, I can't. I think it's partially good parenting, and I think it's partially Jim going, I can't stay up this late all the time.
Yep.
It's too fucking late. I can't do it. This is not okay. I have to trust this child because if I don't, I'm never going to go to work again."
Yep. YouTube doesn't
So
exist yet, so staying up is hard.
staying is staying up is hard no matter what you're doing when you get to be Jim's age, which is younger than me right now.
Oh.
So I know. Um, Jim, new role as parent of
Yeah.
adults, plural, and as money manager who needs to chill the fuck out because Jim has too many opinions about the kind of car Dylan buys.
Because he clearly. Jim and Dylan are having trouble accepting that they want to be related to each other. Jim very much sees Dylan as son like, and
Yeah.
Dylan very much sees Jim as father like, which is clearly why he wants his approval. But
Mm-hmm.
neither of them are comfortable with acknowledging this.
It's true. I agree. And but it's also like I don't think either of them knows how much money Dylan has.
No.
Because I looked it up and the Porsche that Dylan was buying, and I didn't get the exact, but it's a 1994, 1993 Porsche 911. It's a Porsche. And like MSRP on the base model of that was like $66,000, which is a lot in 1993, 1994 dollars. The high end model was like 80.
Oh.
It's a lot, but not if you have $10 million.
Yeah.
If you have as much money as Dylan has, you're picking that shit out of pepper when you're talking about the difference between a $30,000 car and a $60,000 car. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So why Jim is like, not sensible enough. And also, I didn't think you were so flashy. Bitch, he's been driving a Porsche the entire time you've known him.
How many
Like,
times has he peeled out of your driveway?
yeah. Remember when Mel and Jackie got married at your house and he ran across the street and jumped into the car without opening the door? That is fancy boy stuff. Or Duke boy. Duke boys do that too. But like if you're not flashy, you're not jumping into your convertible without opening the door. That's a flashy move.
I just realized doors must have been considered so square in the 90s because my sister and I have noted how often uh, kids are climbing through windows instead of
Mm-hmm.
using the front door. And then you have in this show, too, people hopping into their car as opposed to opening the door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, Joey Porter loved that window.
Yeah, Potter.
That's right. Climb up the ladder and climb on in. Um, uh, as discussed, Steve's tried on a new role as Corvette salesman.
Yep.
He's long been a proponent. Now it seems like he's actually cashing checks from the Chevy Corporation. And Kelly is trying on this new role as fully immersed college freshman.
Yeah.
Like she just wants and there's nothing more relatable to me, I think, than Kelly right now, just wanting to do college kid shit.
Agreed.
You
I was
know?
very much that way. I think my first semester freshman year is where I did the most like going to events in the dorm, like going to movie nights in the dorm, going to welcome week events, doing other things because I wasn't in a show yet and I wasn't in choir, or at least I wasn't going to like road shows yet with the choir.
Yeah. I mean that first couple months of freshman year of college is like the thing that I want to arm every incoming freshman with is the idea that literally everyone right now is trying to make new friends.
Yeah.
It's the time in your life when the most people you're around are trying to meet new people.
Yeah.
Like that's not true. Like when you get a job and you go to a job, like everyone at your new job is not trying to make new friends. Like they have a life and they have shit to do, and like they may be friendly, they may be not, they may be grumpy fuckers, I don't know. But it's not like, hey, new friend. It's like, hey, we have some work to do. Here's your part of it.
Yep.
you know, Talk to me if you need help, but let's get going because we got business things to do. Business is very important.
Yes, it is.
But it's not the same. Like people don't just like, hey, who wants to be friends now? We're having movie night at my room, but that's happening with literally every person you meet your freshman year of college, especially the first half of the first semester, until people find a groove. Everyone's looking for new people. And if you're open to that, if you're like just putting yourself out there to meet new people, you're gonna have success. Because everyone's doing that same thing. And they're all looking for people who are more like them than anyone that they have known previously.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're in high school, like the friends you have in high school are there because their parents also decided to send them to that school, or
Yeah.
also decided to move to a house in the neighborhood that school services. Like
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have anything to do. These aren't your friends. These are just assholes who have to live near you.
Yep.
And so you may not have people there, but when you go to college, there are people who are now ready to self-select.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find your little peoples. You can find your group. And that's what everyone's trying to do. And if you're open to it, it's a great opportunity. And Kelly is open to it.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome.
That's
And as such, she needed to Dylan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very much.
We haven't talked very much about Andrea finally getting down and dirty. So, what are your thoughts on the Andrea Bonin of it all?
Congratulations.
I know.
Well done. Good
Finally
choice.
took that roller coaster ride.
Okay, I was so taken aback when I first watched it and they're talking about going up to the dorms and then all of a sudden they're half naked, they're making out ferociously. Like it was intense.
She's wearing a slip.
Was it a slip? I thought it was just a bra.
I thought it was like a full thing. Like goes down to the belly kind of thing, like a slip or a camisole or some such.
Oh, So that would be, I don't know, that sounds really funny to me, the idea that she's wearing a slip, although I still had to wear slips at in the 90s.
I
Ugh.
think it's funny that she apparently has a brand new bathrobe for the post-coital glow.
Listen, it's things like that. Okay, this is why this won't be my nostalgia corner, because that whole hoping that you're going to feel different or look different is not it's not going to happen for everyone. And that's
Mhm.
not even because that I think that's regardless of whether or not it was a good time. It's just, yes, it's an important thing. Does it need to have all the weight on it? No. If anything, like that's just going to lead to disappointment afterwards. So like, lovely sweet moment. The whole white robe I didn't really get, because I'm like, well, she's technically not pure anymore
Mhm.
according to the patriarchy. She's
That's
not
right.
marrying this man. I don't know why she's in this, lovely adult woman's white robe, but
I'm
oh,
mostly just confused she didn't offer to buy him an entire carousel.
uh, you know what, she learned from that. She learned that buying the carousel was not going to get her laid.
Why buy the carousel when you get the ride for free? Is
Yes.
that how it goes? I think that's the
So,
expression.
it was I was thrown again by the music that is playing when it's 12:30 in the morning and she's contemplating her life, and then she gets up and goes to his room. Um
No, she wasn't contemplating her life. She and Dan both huge boners at like 12:30.
for sure.
Like they couldn't they had not calmed down.
When I say
Like
life, I mean his dick.
yes, 100%. Dan's she wanted Dan's Reuben.
Gross.
Lovely.
So, I support this, especially because, she was like, "Oh, well, I guess I need to either leave your class or leave you." And he's like, "Well, guess you better leave class."
There are other classes, but there's only one Dan's Reuben.
Well done. You played into it. She wanted you to say it before she did because we're afraid of seeming crazy, even though anything we do is going to make us seem crazy because we're whatever.
Crazy. Yeah. It's
Crazy.
because of your moon blood. You're lunatics.
That shit makes us powerful.
Yep. And crazy.
Moon
See,
blood. I love that. I'm going to call it that from now on.
I didn't make that up. I stole that
I
from some,
know,
some book I read somewhere. I don't know.
but that's fantastic.
Isn't it? All right. So, anything else this episode might really have been about?
No, for as much as what happened, as much as there was that happened in this episode, it really wasn't about too much.
Yeah. It was a couple things. All right. So, what did this episode make you nostalgic for?
We got a lot of 90s shit in this episode.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Um, I'm going to lead up to the most exciting thing. We have 90s trends in the flowy floral dresses with the,
Hmm.
like without a waist, really. Like,
Hmm.
we have
That
those.
look.
We have,
Swear to God, that looked like every girl I knew in college. Every single one.
I believe it. We're going to start seeing dresses that I probably had.
Mhm.
Um, we have chokers. We have, um, let's see what. Oh, we have scrunchies. Kelly's wearing a scrunchie. Dylan says as if.
Yes, he does. Yeah, that's a Wayne's World reference. I mean,
Still 90s,
it is.
like
It's very
peak
90s.
90s.
Mm-hmm.
We have midriffs, which Brenda's been wearing some midriff bearing tops.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then ultimately, we see the jazz design paper cups.
What are those?
Oh, look them up. You know exactly what they are. They look like, you'll know the design. It looks like a crayon and it's teal and purple, but it's called the jazz design.
Oh, oh! I did not know that's what that was called.
I didn't either until this morning when I looked it up, because those
Interesting.
cups have somehow achieved icon status, but again, everything plays towards nostalgia.
That's real 90s. Yeah, that's 100% 90. The color scheme, the teal of it all,
Mm-hmm.
quite. Yep,
Yeah.
I'm with you. Um, I'm glad you mentioned the midriff because I wanted to bring that up. Um, Should we add a third column to the chart? Condoms versus ice cream versus midriffs.
Oh, if you know how many there have been so far, maybe
I,
3?
have we seen one prior to Brenda's here?
Oh
I don't
yes, if
remember.
I should have called it out because I knew you'd be excited, but I feel like it was 1 or 2 episodes ago.
Okay. So let's start with 3. Let's say this is the third midriff.
So this is going to come up that much. Wow.
Oh my God.
Condoms
I
versus.
don't think it's going to be close. Also, we have a condom reference in this episode.
Yes, we did. I
So we get
did
to
count
add
that.
that. Yeah, to be honest, I think it's going to get midriffs are going to blow the other two out of the water.
Oh, wow.
Because it's going to be like every girl in every episode is wearing a midriff for like 3 years. Like
Wow.
it's all the fucking time. And I mean, I'm here for it. I was here for it then. I'm here for it now.
I'm barely comfortable showing my midriff now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be one of those women that doesn't do any of the revealing shit until people say I'm too old for it, but then I'll be my most confident, so I won't care.
There you go. Get it. Do whatever. Um, Here's what I'm nostalgic for. It could be those floral sundresses because, again, my entire college experience is like every person I knew was wearing a floral sundress. Um, but I think what it is getting up on a random ass Tuesday morning and grabbing coffee and donuts.
Oh, yeah.
That's really just that is a solid move. You know, I don't know. I do want to quibble slightly with Brandon putting 2 cups of coffee in a paper bag,
Well, they didn't
and
have the
then,
tray yet.
but that's a spill waiting to happen. You know,
Yeah, but I don't think Brandon's coordinated enough to carry two coffees and a bag of donuts.
it's possible that I just have bigger hands than he does, which I'm sure is true because I'm taller than he is. But I could do 2 cups of coffee like this. I could hold the bottom, but that would be hot. So I guess I would go from the top, and I could probably pull that off depending on how big the coffee cups are. Um, but paper cups of coffee in a paper bag, it seems like it's going to be a mess.
Now I want coffees and donuts.
Okay, you should do that.
I mean,
I
yeah,
mean,
plenty of
what's stopping
options.
you? You're a grown up. You can fucking get coffee and donuts if you want. Once you can do that, you can have coffee and donuts once.
That's
I'm
true.
not gonna, whatever. All right. So who is your Steve Sanders Memorial worst person of the episode?
So I was thinking Kelly, but now that we've talked through it more, I don't think that's entirely fair. So I'm gonna say the carjacker. It's obvious, but like, I yeah, it's the carjacker. What the hell,
Hmm?
buddy? Are you okay? What led you
Carjack.
to this?
Sucker.
I either made this joke to you or Walter. Um, it's gonna be the same kid that stuck up Brenda.
Oh yeah. Probably not. Um, I don't even know if we find out who the carjacker was, to be honest with you.
Oh
I just
Lord.
don't remember. Because it's not about that. It's about what being carjacked does to Dylan.
Oh God.
Yep. Things are about to get not great for Dillwig.
Oh no! Is everyone gonna fall into an addiction freshman year?
I've told you, everyone is addicted to something at some point.
Well, yeah, but all at once?
I don't know. Oh, fuck. David also took caffeine pills from Howard, and Howard is
Oh,
Howard his name? I think his name's Howard.
I don't know.
And he's also like, hey, if you need a little more, a little something stronger. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm sure that's not going to go anywhere. That was probably just an offhand comment
No,
that
that's
doesn't.
totally going somewhere. Oh my God. Why is that guy there? If he doesn't want to do that shift, why is he there? And same with Donna being awake. You are tired. What? I don't understand these people.
No, it's a mess. Yeah, I think David might wear a hat real soon.
Oh no! Oh, is he gonna
Yeah.
start dealing?
Oh boy, it's a.
This is why he's. Oh no! This is why he's gonna think that it's okay for him to do hip hop.
He's always thought that was okay.
Oh, I know, but now he's gonna be like, I'm gonna get more street cred.
I mean, look, he did stop gang violence and racism, all through the power of his white rapping.
Oh Lord.
That's right. Um, Look, if there's one person responsible for all this stuff, I'm gonna say it's the Lord. This is what Jesus wanted. He wanted all this nonsense to happen.
I need more variety of names to speak out, since Lord and Jesus don't really do it for me. But
yeah. All right. I think we did it.
Yeah.
All right. So join us here on Friday, Cheesemeisters, when we're going to watch probably the most realistic take on trying to lose your virginity in the aughts. We're going to watch Superbad.
Hell yeah.
Which Leslie hasn't seen, and I haven't seen in a long time. So, yeah, it's Superbad's funny, and it's it's got our cousin Bill in it. So,
Yep.
keeping it in the fams. So we're watching that on Friday, and then next week, join us when we watch season 4, episode 7, Moving Targets.
Oh God. Oh no! Is he gonna take up? Is he gonna learn how to use a gun? Is he gonna buy a gun? Oh God! No!
I don't know. But I do know this, Cheesemeisters. We're about to meet Deshaun Hardell.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Now, there's a guy named Deshaun Hardell, so I'm guessing that you're assuming he's black, and you're correct. So based on that, who do you think he's going to talk to?
David.
Oh, that is wildly incorrect.
Wait, really?
Yeah. No, Brandon gets to talk to the black people. Don't you know that? Don't you remember Robinson Ash III?
I forgot only Brandon gets to talk to black people.
And Reese.
Oh boy.
Uh-huh.
What was Vivica A. Fox's character's name again?
Reese.
Was that Reese? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was Reese. Yep. So, yeah.
Jordan.
So, yeah. And eventually Andrea got to talk to him, but not very much. Mostly his job was to come in the peach pit and tell Brandon things about Andrea.
Andrea wasn't available at the time.
Nope. Brandon, nobody could have seen this coming.
Anybody could have seen this coming.
Anybody could have seen it coming, Deshaun Hardell. Can't wait for Deshaun. And Professor Corey Randall, which opens up some wonderful guest star movie opportunities for us.
Okay.
Yep. So wonderful, and I don't know, just wonderful.
There are way too many male teachers on this show.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any female teachers. There is a couple. I mean, Mrs. Teasley wasn't a teacher; she was an administrator. But there are a couple of female teachers as things progress. Good. Mostly men. Mostly men, though. So, all right. So we're gonna have to add to our ranking of best/worst teachers in this show.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep. So, all right. So, until then, Cheesemeisters.
Bye.
Bye.